Hi guys, it's Eleonora. I hope you had a nice week. Today we're gonna make this cute pie menu in Unity, and I'm using mine for spell selection, but it can be anything really. It is very similar to the ones seen in The Witcher 2 or Wondersong or Mario Maker. I got inspired for this one from one of Kirsten Stokes' videos, and she has this awesome channel, and I'm gonna link it in the description so you can check it out. I'm gonna start with these two images that I quickly put together. First, we have this outline of a circle and also some icons to represent the menu items. I've imported those, and I'll start by creating a UI image. And as a child of the canvas, create a new empty object, and this will hold the entire menu. And as a child of this, create another one called menu item, and this will hold an individual button from the menu. Drag the image object we created earlier as a child of this, and now we can add the circle image as a source and set the type to fill. I've planned out my menu to have 8 elements, so I'm gonna set the fill amount to 0.125, which is 1 divided by 8, but adjust yours as needed. We need one more image to hold the icon, and we can make a prefab out of the menu element. Now let's go ahead and create the other 7. I've picked random colors temporary so we can see better where a menu item starts and ends, but we will change those later to something more pleasant to look at. Now we can add a script to the menu items. I'm naming this menu item script. So we need 3 variables, 2 colors, a hover color and a base color, and also a reference to the background image object. So in the start function, we're gonna set the background color to the base color, and then I'm gonna go ahead and delete the update function because we don't need that. And I'm gonna define 2 new functions, select and deselect. And in select, we'll change the color to the hover color, and in deselect, we'll change the color to the base color. Also, don't forget to add using Unity Engine.ui at the top of the file, and also set the select and deselect functions to public so we can access them later. Now let's add a script to the parent menu item. I'm naming this menu script. So what we need is the mouse position, but we need that relevant to the center of our menu, which is also the center of the screen because I've positioned the menu exactly at the center of the screen. If we debug.log the mouse position, we can see in action that the coordinates in which this is shown in start from the bottom left corner, so 0, 0 is down here, and it goes in this direction. We want to calculate what this would correspond to in a coordinate system that goes through the middle of the screen. So let's go back to our script and add a variable called normalize mouse position. And in the update function, we'll set this to be a new vector to mouse position x minus half the width of the screen and mouse position y minus half the screen height. So now if we debug.log this again, we can now see that the 0, 0 position is in the middle of the screen. If we draw these imaginary lines going from the center of our menu through the boundaries of the menu buttons, and we end up with these sections. So we want to be able to tell in which section the mouse is, so we know what is currently being selected. And to do that, we need to get the angle between the line defined by the center of the circle and the current mouse position, and the new x-axis we defined earlier, which goes through the middle of the screen. Since we have x and y, we can use Unity's atan function to do so. However, this gives us a result in radians, and we want degrees. So to do that, we're going to multiply by the radian to degrees function. If we debug.log this, we can see it goes from 0 to 180 in this direction and from 0 to minus 80 in this direction. And we don't want to have negative values. We want to go from 0 to 360. So if we go back to the script and we set the current angle equals current angle plus 360, we can add 360 to any angle and it will still be the same angle. So for example, minus 90 becomes 135, etc. And to avoid values over 360, we're gonna do modulo. So if we go back now, our angle value goes from 0 to 360 in this direction very smoothly. Okay, next we need to calculate what section is the current angle in. We define a new variable called selection, and let's set that to the current angle divided by 360 over 8, since we have 8 menu items, which would be 45 degrees. So this section over here is 0, and it grows in the same direction as the angle variable we set earlier. There we go. Now we just need to actually select and deselect the item. Let's go back to the script and define some more variables. We're gonna need an array of game objects to hold our menu items. We're gonna need another end to hold the previous selected item, and 2 menu item script objects, one for the current selection and one for the previous selection. We only want to do this if the new selection is different than the previous one. So let's check that, and if it is, we'll grab the menu item script attached to the previously selected element, which we get from the array, and we can call the deselect function on this. Now set previous to the current selection, so we keep a reference of this as well, and we go ahead and use the select function on the currently selected item. Let's go back to Unity and add the menu items to the script by just dragging them in the correct order. And we also haven't set up our colors yet. You probably have a palette for your game, but if you're in need of a quick color palette, I really like this website. It's what I used for this video. And also don't forget to drag the background image to the background image slot as well. Now let's click play, and there we go. We are correctly detecting which items should be highlighted. As a finishing touch, let's add 2 more text elements to each menu item. One being a title and another one being the description. And we can also wrap this up in one parent object called description. Let's hide it in the editor by unchecking the box next to the name of the game object. And if we go back to the menu item script, we can add new variable called description, set it to active on select and deactivate it on deselect. And there we go. I went ahead and adjusted the colors and the descriptions, and this is the final result. I really like how it turned out. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Probably a lot of you are doing Ludum Dare this week. I hope it goes well. Join the Discord and you can send me your games to try out as well, or you can just come and socialize. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you next week. Bye!